My accident happened, I was 21 years old. I was going over the St. Catharines Skyway and just wasn't paying attention to traffic around me. Ended up crashing my motorcycle into a stopped vehicle that was in front of me. So I flew off the motorcycle and ended up striking the back of a dump truck pulling a backhoe tractor on a flatbed trailer. Hit with my head. Somehow I must have flipped up and smashed the spine of my back, and that was it. I broke one bone in my body, but it was the wrong one. There was no one to blame but myself. I was alone on the bike, thankfully, so I just had to deal with what direction my new life was gonna go, and that meant getting as many answers as I could. So at the time, there was no internet, so magazines, posters, talking to other people that had injuries, and just trying to pay attention to what my new body might be.
So I would go mountain biking with a few buddies. Bronte Creek, just north of Dundas. If you're a mountain biker, you'll know there's this, it's kind of a hidden trail that leads you to this, almost like a bike park, where people have built all these features and obstacles. And we came across a tree that had fallen on a hill. Someone had built a platform on that tree, so it was about a 4-foot drop. So I thought I'll just give her a go. Came down, I hit the jump, and I was going quite slowly actually. And when I got to the end, I bunny hopped off of it. And I had done this before on other obstacles, it was never a problem. But this particular morning, I remember I landed on my front wheel and I held myself there waiting for the back tire to fall so I could just carry down the hill. But instead I tipped forward and my head plowed into the ground. I heard my back pop, my legs fell over me, and then I was lying on the hill. Basically reached down, yelled, "Eric, I can't feel my legs." And that's when this whole thing started.
The incident, basically what happened was, I have family in Phoenix, have family in Cali, flew down, rented a car, and unfortunately we were involved in a multi-car accident. A tire malfunction on another vehicle, seatbelt malfunction, basically left me with a broken neck. It was crazy. I mean, I remember that day vividly. I was in the back seat. I had just moved to the back seat because Taryn cried for a bottle. I remember giving her the bottle and then basically falling asleep. I know it sounds hokey, but I feel like the fact that she cried and called me to the back seat kind of almost saved me, because when you look at the car and the damage to the front passenger side, it was completely inward, and I felt immediately to the left for the car seat and it was gone, and it freaked me out. But the paramedics already had taken Taryn out with the car seat, so she was okay, but I didn't know that. And I went blind from shock, and all I could hear was voices of paramedics and people discussing strategies on how to get me out of the vehicle. So that was crazy. And then the last memory was basically lying on a backboard, feeling the Arizona sun and being told by a complete stranger everything was fine and the ambulance was on its way. And then I was out. You know, that was kind of it. Final diagnosis was basically, you're a quadriplegic, you've broken your neck at the C6-7 level. They initially told my wife that I would not be able to move my hands or have any function below the level of the neck. I just thought it was like anything else. You know, I've broken a leg before or something, and I just thought, you know, I'm just gonna ride this through. Eventually, I clued in, like most of us, and when I was at Lyndhurst, this is months later, I started to wiggle a left toe voluntarily, and I thought I won the lottery. I'm like, I'm walking out of here, man, everything's great. And what a joke. I mean, things just slowly progressed, and luckily I regained most of my hand function. But that took a couple of months before the right hand came back.
I grew up in California. There was always this BMX track, Orange Y BMX, which is an iconic BMX track for anybody that's raced BMX. You've heard of it. And we used to see it off the 57 freeway. And I was just like, Mom, check it out. I want to go. And she's like, yeah. you know. And I mean, as it was, she's already driving me around to like 15 different sports. So, and it was just my mom and I, like single parent. She's trying to keep me involved in different things to keep me out of trouble, and convinced her to take me, and just fell in love. I raced BMX from the age of 11, 12 years old until I was like 16. BMX was fun and it was great, but you weren't really making money, especially as a woman. You weren't making the same money as the guys were. And it was right around that time that mountain biking in like the early 90s was just starting to blow up. To be able to transition into mountain biking, it was an actual career. I was like, someone's paying me to like fly around the world and race my bike? You've got to be nuts. Really lived my dream, and life was perfect. Couldn't have been any better. In 2007, that's when I had a race in Vail, Colorado, and landed on my head, and this perfect life that I had cultivated, you know, all of a sudden just like boom, done. I remember everything, good or bad. I remember everything. One small mistake really changed a lot. You're never in that space where you think it's actually going to happen to you. So when it did, it was, yeah, it was just wild.
Being paralyzed from this level down, you're kind of like a wet noodle. So I always try and describe it to people that it's like everything I do, I'm doing sitting on an exercise ball. You know, I'm a kind of a pendulum that can fall left, right, anytime. So what makes it tough is you have to relearn everything in life. And most of the things I do now, I can only do with one hand. I need one hand to stabilize, hold myself up. The other hand can do the task, whether it's reaching things, trying to pick up my child, everything's one hand now. And I'm fortunate that my accident happened 30 years ago when it did, because I think rehab has even changed now. You know, they really pushed me to be independent in rehab. So we went outside, do concrete steps, learning how to do a wheelie, go down the stairs in that wheelie without crashing out of your chair. You know, that was stuff I looked forward to learning. To me, that was my new mobility. And once I got that level of independence, it was a matter of how am I going to apply this in the real world. I was able to move out onto my own independently right out of rehab, which gave me the privacy I needed for my new life situation. And it gave me a chance to build my self-confidence again, trying new things without eyes peered on me that I was going to fail. You know, with the new tasks I had to try and explore and relearn. So I was pretty lucky in rehab. We had a chance to witness wheelchair tennis for the first time. And I remember pulling into the parking lot and seeing for the first time somebody getting out of a car with their wheelchair. Seeing these guys put their wheelchair together beside them, transfer into the wheelchair, and then go to the back of the car, open the trunk, and they had a whole new chair specifically designed for wheelchair tennis. And that kind of gave me the motivation to learn and discover not only wheelchair tennis, but what else was out there. Sports was probably the #1 thing that gave me the freedom I was looking for. It gave me a chance not only to experience the freedom for myself, but it gave my family and my friends who were trying to understand what my new life was going to be, a chance for them to see me show the best side of myself. I came alive when I played sports, so whether it was the wheelchair tennis or certainly getting back into my sit ski, those are just the key things that made me feel like the old Rich again. Once you're in a wheelchair, you realize most of your world is a concrete world. That's where the access is. And even in that concrete world, you're looking for the easy ways, like the ramps. That freedom, it's almost impossible to explain unless you have the spinal cord injury yourself, because you don't start with the same mindset. You don't understand what a barrier is until there's one presented to you. You know, you take for granted, at least I did the first 21 years of my life. You're walking through life on legs that can negotiate any terrain, no matter what. You want to climb a tree, that's not an issue, any tree. You get in a wheelchair, and all of a sudden a 4-inch curb is your barrier. You get in on an adapted mountain bike, especially something with some e-assist, there are no barriers. You know, that bike will take you everywhere.
A Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Though his mind is not for him, don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve a quiet gets high on you, and the space he invades, he gets by on you. No, his mind is not for rent to any god or government. Always hopeful yet discontent. Those changes aren't permanent. Oh, changes.
When I got hurt, I knew I had to stay active. I didn't want to be the guy on the couch, and I had these two little girls looking at me. So I needed to find a way to be active. And it was only as a paraplegic that I became an athlete. The Linters knew that I was a bit of a speed junkie. I loved motorcycles. I was active. And it was funny because they'd come up to me and say, "Have you seen Rich? You got to meet Rich." And when we did finally meet, he was amazing. Like, he told me his story. He showed me a picture of him on a sit ski, 15 feet off the ground. I thought, shit, this guy can fly. Like, okay, I can still do stuff. I can still have a really good quality of life. And when Rich found out I was interested in cycling, the guy went home, picked up his hand cycle and brought it to my hospital room and said, "Here you go." That was the first time I was moving myself with my arms, was around Lyndhurst on a hand cycle in November. And it was just the best feeling.
When I was in rehab, I met Rich. I think a lot of us owe a lot to Rich. And the first image I have of Rich, I see this Hollywood guy pull up in a CRV, and there's a kayak on top. And I remember looking at him and going, holy shit, that guy's in a wheelchair. And I'm like, I want to be that guy. If he can do that stuff, and I can get anywhere near doing some of that stuff, I'll feel good about myself. And then I pretty much tried every wheelchair sport you can think of. And I remember taking him out to some stuff that he had never done, like hang gliding. It's funny, 20 years later, we're good friends, and we did this mountain biking adventure, which is so awesome.
I found this mountain bike online. Some friends of mine raised some money, and the first thing I did was buy that off-road hand cycle. Teaching your kids how to ride a bike, going for a bike ride. I mean, those are some of the things that I was really excited about becoming a dad. And I kind of thought I lost all that stuff. With that adaptive mountain bike, I was able to go for a bike ride with my daughters. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And so first thing we did was figure out where we could race the thing. We ended up going in the 24-hour mountain bike race where the organizers, they made it accessible for us. And it was the funniest thing, you know, people didn't understand. They would be doing the bike course and they would see this wheelchair sign in the forest. They're like, what the hell is a wheelchair sign doing in the forest? It didn't make sense to them until they saw me on this hand cycle. I remember it was like 4 in the morning and I was doing a lap and I'm grinding up this hill, not very quickly. And some guy goes by me and goes, dude, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm here and I'm doing it and I'm getting encouraged. It's awesome. In many ways, sport saved my life. You know, it gave me goals to focus on, helped me build strength. You know, I slept better, I felt better, I was in a better mood, all these things because of sport. And eventually, you know, triathlon became the huge goal that I set for myself. But I had done it. I had finished the Ironman World Championship, making me the first Canadian paraplegic to do that race. They ended up shipping me to the hospital afterwards because I was so dehydrated. So I think I had 5 bags of IV over the next 4 or 5 hours, but it was totally worth it.
I think I realized that I wasn't going to walk again probably when I left my rehab hospital. I 1,000% thought I was going to walk out of there. And that's really what kept my hope alive. You know, they always tell you, still get things back for up to 2 years after. When I got back to California and then life was real life again, that was some of the darkest days, for sure. I had so much support when I first got hurt. Like, the mountain bike community rallied hard, and I felt that. But then, you know, it's been months and months, and then you go home and people get on with their lives, you know? But you're still going through this like gnarly, traumatic experience, and it's hard because it's like you want to reach out. At least I did. I wanted to reach out, but then I didn't. I never wanted to burden anybody with all of my shit because it was heavy. Like, I couldn't even handle it, so I couldn't imagine giving that to someone else. So I would just turn to some not so great things to try to cope and try to deal, and hitting rock bottom. I was absolutely okay with not waking up. I had wanted to get into mountain biking, but I had never seen any adaptive mountain bike, and one that could do what I wanted to do on it. I didn't want to just cruise. I wanted to pin it down a mountain, like go to a bike park. And so it wasn't until I moved here, Elodie and I were hanging out with a couple friends of ours, Chantel and Nat, and they were the ones that found the sport on. I'd never even heard of it. And so they found it, they did a fundraiser, they raised the funds in like 3 days. I was so blown away. I couldn't believe all of that happened. And then Elodie told me how it happened and how quickly it happened. And I was just like, oh my God. And then it seemed like almost every time I went out, people were just so enamored with it. They were trying to figure it out. And I had so many people say, hey, I got a friend, he'd love to ride one of those. That got me thinking more about adaptive mountain biking. And I'm just thinking, man, you know, like, BC is the mecca of mountain biking. How is this company not here? How is there no Canadian distributor? So in my brain, I'm like, that's what I want to do. This is like my old life and my new life, and they're like coming together, and I feel like I'd be really good at this. So I basically cold called the owner, and I was like, this is my name, this is my background, this is who I am. I want to sell your bikes. I know it sounds super, super cheesy, but it's like field of dreams kind of moment. I was like, if you build it, they will come. You have enough sit skiers that those are the same people that are going to want to get out, and they're going to want a mountain bike. They bought a bike, and then they bought another, and then they bought another. It made me want to be alive. Then it made me get out of bed. It had me in a rhythm of at least training for something, having a purpose, trying to find my identity again. Sports has really been my driving force. It's so saved me. And I don't just mean the actual like competing in sport, but I mean the people in sport.
In September of 2020, the girls were back at school. So Chloe's back in grade 12. The senior students are back at the National Ballet School. And Zara's starting high school. She's grade 9. She'd come home, do her chores, play with the dogs, feed the cats, and her and Sabrina would head to the barn. A couple hours later, I had done my workout. I was just sitting on the couch having my dinner. The phone rang. Zara was in an accident. And so I said, is Zara conscious? She wasn't. So I raced to the emergency room where they tried to revive her, but she didn't survive. So at the age of 14, when we lost my little girl, Zara, she was in a farmer's field. She thought she was going through a puddle, and it turned out to be a mud bog. And she wanted to stay with the horse to make sure the horse was okay, but she drowned. So knowing I needed something to do, something to focus on, I was looking, I had my eye out for a whole bunch of things. And I got the newsletter for Cycling Canada, and it said the Dunbar BC Cup Summer Series is opening themselves up for adaptive mountain biking. And there was a picture of an adaptive mountain cyclist in the newsletter. I saw that, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta call Rich and Fernando and Jake, because we gotta go do this thing. This is crazy. And I'm like, we need a road trip. Like, this would be good for the soul. I got on the horn, reached out to the organizers, and they said they'd love to have us. That's sort of set the wheels in motion. Okay, we have to make this thing happen.
So when Rob initially talked about it, I was on board right away. I mean, wanted to support him 100%. He's been through a lot and wanted that distraction, doing a road trip out there. And it was something that interests me personally as well.
We had done obviously the mountain biking here. We've done a 24-hour race a few times. So the next step up meant going down a mountain. So we talked about it with our buddies and we made the plan right off the bat. We said, this is something we want to do and we should do.
The Dunbar Summer Series has been running since 2012 with Dunbar as a sponsor. We started the racing in 2008. It all comes down to the vibe. It comes down to the people, just top notch. Downhill mountain bikers are the kind of people that you call when you're stuck in a ditch at 1 a.m. They're the ones that will get up, no questions asked, and come and get you. The Dunbar Summer Series works having 3 events in 10 days because of the proximity of the resorts. Fernie Resort is in the southern Kootenays, and it's approximately 2 hours from Panorama. Once you get to Panorama, it's only another hour and a half to get to Kicking Horse, and the amount of riding and trails that you have between each resort just made the logistics of this a dream. People could camp at one, then easily roll to the next event and then the following event. And then once we were in Golden, you had quick access to the Trans-Canada for your route home.
I started shooting photos in 2012. I was riding in all these neat places and I was very focused on exploring and accessing mountaintops and things, and I wanted to be able to share that with people. Then I started shooting mountain bike racing with Stephen Exley. I shot the Summer Series, and suddenly I was like, well, this is something really special. I ended up meeting up with Ethan Kruger and Mike Riediger from Kootenay Adaptive Sport Association, and this is the best of mountain biking, and it's available to somebody who's in a wheelchair. I didn't know what adaptive was, and I was like, this is the most interesting thing I've ever shot.
In 2018, Kootenay Adaptive was formed with the mandate to make BC's outdoors a more accessible place for people with mobility challenges through the sport of adaptive mountain biking. When we first started, adaptive mountain biking was so small. There was only a handful of riders that were doing mountain biking, not just off-road hand cycling. There were 3 trails in BC that had been purpose-built for this at the time. Here we are 4 years later, we're at well over 150 kilometers of adaptive mountain biking trail that we've been a part of. There's dozens of riders in British Columbia now, and here we are with competitions, and we're training instructors from this little town in the middle of nowhere with 1,500 people.
Fall 2020, we were chatting with Stephen Exley, and literally I just said, could we add adaptive? He's like, yes. Done. That was the only thing he ever said.
When Niall asked me to add adaptive to the Dunbar Summer Series, I didn't hesitate. There was no reason why not. To me, the adaptive riders were just more riders. There wasn't anything I was going to do special for them beyond what absolutely had to happen. When I reached out to the resorts, they were willing to host the adaptive route mountain bikers. One of the first questions they had was, what course are they going to run? With the help of some adaptive athletes, we went out there and pre-scouted at most of the resorts.
Are we ready?
Yep.
All right.
What we were really out there looking for was really figuring out what we could make happen to make these courses as integrated into the main line as possible, while taking in consideration the bikes that will be there and the safety of the riders.
Money.
When we brought the adaptive riders out, there was some risk because we didn't know what the limitations were. We didn't understand what the tipping points were, what the bikes could do and what they couldn't do. I believe there was about 15 of us, including mountain safety, that did the tours, but there was definitely some crashes because we wanted to see where the limits were. How hard could we make this course?
That's awesome.
So things we had to look out for at the 3 venues were things like technical drops, bridge width, and other obstacles that might pinch the trails a bit tight.
Yeah, it's the same thing. This thing's gonna be not good.
Yeah.
A high risk for sure.
Yeah, no, you know what?
Yeah, we'll have to make a crossing for this one. So just let her down on the frame, down the front wheels. Because if he's coming into a corner off camber like that, going downhill, he just goes straight into the bushes.
Good.
Yeah.
You wanna have that? Great. Intimidating. Yeah. Yeah, two in the front end will be back. That's what I'm worried about.
As with anything, when you're doing something for the first time, there's always going to be problems. But we had a great group of individuals that don't mind putting themselves into situations where the unknown is going to deter them from trying to get something done. We did have some accidents, some tip overs, some crashes.
I lost my ducky.
Lost your ducky, lost your cushion.
I lift myself up. Could I get you to put that back under my butt?
Yeah. Is that it?
Everyone involved is a problem solver. So there wasn't just like, we can't do this. That was never a part of the equation. It's how we're gonna get this done.
What do you think? Do you wanna?
That is what I didn't want to do today.
If I lift, is that okay?
Upright and then we'll move it over. You okay?
Oh yeah.
Is your...
Like really compatible.
During our trials, when we first brought them into the main section of the Kicking Horse course, there's some pretty heavy root drops, on-slight turns. That type of an obstacle wasn't something that was good for these types of cycles because they weren't able to facilitate the weight movement that was required for the stunt.
Are you good, Lando?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
That was one of the things that went into making sure that any drops, any jumps had the right landing so that they didn't have to worry about the weight distribution for that.
When we were testing the trails at Panorama, we had some time to play around at the bottom of the course and things got a bit rowdy. We never want to be in a position where we put someone in harm's way knowing that that's a possibility. But sometimes things do go sideways on the mountains. Unfortunately, Cole had a big wipeout and the turnout was better than it seemed at the time.
Cole, can you squeeze my hand?
Yeah, he's got it.
I can move my neck fine.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Well, I'd like to fucking breathe because my choke's
Okay, upright. Mike, you got break? Ready? Okay. That was one of the craziest crashes I've seen.
Yeah, I won't forget that one soon.
Oh, no.
That was heavy. That was super heavy.
Keep an eye, guys, and then any changes, any mood alterations.
How the fuck are we gonna know if it's mood changes?
Yeah, well, it's
Already
easier
an
for
asshole.
some than others, right? Like, yeah. No alcohol. He's got that smirk back.
What about?
When you do see, a fairly significant crash, it always makes you pause and reflect on the situation, how you can improve things in the future. How we can improve our instructor training and instructor courses, our volunteer training. There's always a positive that can be brought out of that to make the sport safer for people.
Yes, man. It fucking works.
We thought there'd be 3 or 4 people entering the adaptive portion of the series. So we were really surprised when suddenly all these people entered that we didn't know. And we're like, oh my God, there's a bunch of dudes coming out from Ontario. Like, I wouldn't have come out here to race bikes. That's insane. Well, I'm gonna call them and just let them know this is not garden variety mountain biking. It's pretty rough.
Hi, we're from Ontario. Can we enter the adaptive category of the Dunbar series?
I was scared shitless for sure. We got this Zoom meeting, like literally I think 2 or 3 days before we were gonna leave, because we all signed up and registered for the races. And they basically told us, you flatlanders, if you have no downhill experience, you shouldn't be coming. It's basically the same course as the able-bodied course.
I'll be honest, we were scared shitless, only because the organizers told us ahead of time that this is a course that you could die on. You shouldn't be coming if you're not ready and you don't know the risks.
And you need these tires and you need these brakes. And the clincher for me was, he talked about bringing a neck brace for safety. And when I heard that, unfortunately, I just thought to myself, I can't do this. I'm bailing. I don't have the confidence. I want to go, but I don't think I should be racing. So I talked to the boys about it. I said, I still want to join you guys, and I still want to experience it, and I want to ride the mountains as much as I can, but I'm not going to race.
The rule of the mountain is just don't kill yourself, because no one's going to police you. No one's going to take care of you. It's up to you. And of course, having broken my back mountain biking, I know, I mean, there's risks, right? You got to be smart.
None of us have ever flown with our bikes. We didn't think it was possible with the airlines to take this bike through the airport, rental cars, all that stuff. So the only option we had was a trailer. And we modified the trailer so we could fit 3 mountain bikes and 2 road bikes in there. Shelving system, everything was done perfectly to have all the equipment kind of fit in there nicely. I've driven across Canada, I think 3 times before. So people say, well, how can you do it? How can you get through the prairies? Like, to me, it's scenic, it's Canada. I don't mind seeing this country from end to end. I could do it 50 times. So to me, the road trip was something I looked forward to. It was beautiful, it was exciting. So Fernie was the first time ever that, we're going up a chairlift with these bikes. And we had no idea kind of how that was gonna work. And truthfully, the lifties that were there, because this is the first time event for them too, and some of the bikes are a little different, we had to figure it out. And as long as everybody was on the same page, open-minded, let's just do our best to get everybody moving, get everybody up the mountain. It worked. First time ever on a chairlift with a bike in the summertime.
Getting off the lift at the top of Fernie, the trip was already worthwhile. 5 days of driving this, because I'm up there with my buddies, looking down at the rest of the world, and I'm paraplegic. Doesn't make sense for most people, which is the kind of shit I love, right? Tell me there's something I can't do or I shouldn't do, and I'll die trying to do it, just to prove you wrong. But being up there and being in the mountains, it gives your life perspective, I think.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the BC Cup Canada Cup Dunbar Cycle Summer Series here at Fernie Alpine Resort. We have a downhill is happening in very dusty, dry conditions. And it's great to have racing back. Good to see everyone, and we're ready to go fast. It's seeding time today, practice, and the big finals tomorrow. Enjoy the show. Woo!
Well, I can never be like you. Well, I can never talk like that. You smile with a sparkling drink and stumble in your lipstick mess. Well, Hollywood philosophies, yeah, it's a tragedy. But you keep hanging on with a vacant look, just waiting around for someone to take you home. And I know you know I'm not there. I'm sorry I was late, I didn't want to come.
okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your top 5 podium of the adaptive E-System class here at the Canada Cup.
So we started out the 3-part Dunbar Summer Series with Fernie. It was sweet, man. It was a fun track to kick off the series with, and the first ever adaptive mountain bike race in history, which is badass, man. It was so cool to be a part of kind of rolling that carpet out. And Fernie was a crazy course. It was like the top half was kind of a logging road. I kept my phone in my pocket for one of the laps. We ended up getting up to like 80K down this logging road, down the side of a mountain with like super gnarly hairpin corners that just launch off to like death. And then the bottom half of the course was pretty much the able-bodied course, which there wasn't any like, oh, let's make it easy for the adaptive. It's like, no, this is downhill racing. It's got to be challenging, man. And like you wouldn't hop on a bike for your first time ever and go race a downhill event. It's kind of the same concept, right? You got to be inclusive, but also keep the challenge factor to it. Mountain biking's took a bit of a hit with COVID and stuff, just with races being canceled. And so I think everybody is being back in the racing environment, and it was unreal. I took last place at a little technical and took a good cartwheel in the Rudy loamy stuff. I rolled out of it nice, which was good. There was no injuries. I was, chapped at the situation, but went down and got the bike fixed and dealt with and smoked a doob and was good to go. Kind of just cleared the head a little bit and reset. And it worked out really well because my homie Landon ended up winning. He was injured mountain biking in his first ever mountain bike race as an able-bodied. So it's cool for him to be able to take the W and win as, his first race back as an adaptive athlete. It was pretty special for him. It was a pretty emotional day, and he definitely celebrated pretty hard, which was awesome to see.
It was pretty powerful, It also felt really good just to show people that, I was a mountain biker, and I was a mountain biker again. And it was 10 years apart, but I was almost like I'd never left. It was a good redemption. And then the after party was awesome.
Did you do a kickstand?
I did, yeah, at least 1 or 2.
The great thing about Fernie is as you're finishing the course, you're just ecstatic that you made it to the bottom, and you hear people cheering all the way through the forest, and there's fans and families and other riders still waiting for all the riders to come in. And there's nothing like it. You definitely felt like you're part of this group right away.
The length of the mountain is so long that we don't have that experience in Ontario. So halfway down the hill, you're usually done whatever it is you're doing in Ontario. But now the most technical part of the hill is in front of us. Lots of whoops, lots of drop-offs, lots of jumps, lots of trees. It was exhausting, and you're getting that arm pump. And it's just like you're doing 100 different push-ups. And there's just that sense of accomplishment of, fuck, I did it. And then to find out later that, Rich and I came 4th and 5th, I think we earned a bit of credibility and respect from the BC boys. You got these old guys from Ontario. It's our 3rd day on a mountain, and we got some hardware, so that was kind of cool.
I didn't realize at the time how important this was to Rob with all the life stuff he'd been through. I can't believe he did the road trip at all and made it through it, because it was so high pressure for them. That's the part that I think is the coolest about adaptive mountain biking is everybody thinks it's amazing that people are riding adaptive mountain bikes, which is this much of what's hard. That's the payoff. What everyone thinks is hard is the payoff of all this other stuff that goes on in the background. None of those obstacles are insurmountable in a wheelchair, but add them all up and then cross the country to do it. And good luck trying to get a race series done in a wheelchair.
I was a young man. I was a machinist apprentice. I loved the outdoors. I loved mountain biking. I loved snowboarding. You hate to talk about extreme sports, but I liked doing stupid things, and it bit me in the ass one day. I'd signed up for the Kokanee Big Air competition at Sunshine Village, and it was in the very early days of Big Air. People didn't wear helmets then. I took a big jump and I landed the wrong end up. So I burst my T7, 8, and 9 vertebrae and immediately was completely paralyzed and knew it I just kind of like drifted to the bottom of the landing, and the rest is history. Officially, in my mind, I won the competition because I did get the biggest air. I didn't have a long battle with I'm going to walk again. My mindset went to getting out of the hospital. Getting outside and sort of being with nature is incredibly important to me then and to this day. I started trying to hike. I just put mountain bike tires on my chair, and you get to a hill and your arms just aren't strong enough, or your front wheels dig in, and then you put a bigger wheel out front. The technical innovations that I could apply to the problem were only minor improvements, and I wanted a massive improvement. And that's where skiing came in. So cross-country skiing, you're generally on your own the whole time. The snow is nature's wheelchair ramp. It smoothed out the bumps and the creeks and the rocks, so I could just get in this thing and go. That was my first foray back into the mountains. I had a really adventurous cross-country ski trip, we'll describe it as, with my now wife. And we were like backcountry cross-country skiing, and I kept tipping into tree wells. But it made me think, if an able-bodied person went past, their inside foot would go down and their outside foot would stay high, and they'd use their knee and it would bend and they'd keep going. But in a cross-country sit ski, you'd tip. So after this trip, I did come up with this sort of articulating framework that would allow one ski to go higher, keep me level, and the other one go lower. The idea for the bowhead for the bike had always been there. Any attempt at the bike was always a failure because it would always tip. It was staring at like a crappy prototype in my basement of a bike I'd tried to make and think like, all I need to do is flip this ski upside down and put wheels on either side. And I did, and it worked. And now we have these. We've grown a lot, and the bike has grown a lot too. We went from it being designed around me as the litmus for what does this bike need to be able to do. And then very quickly, younger people started buying the bike. They were jumping it, double black trails, bike park. The progression exploded. And we're not one and done. We're taking everything that all the other riders are doing and we're incorporating it into new products and upgrading things and evolving things. We went from leading a category to being followers. And it wasn't that we're following a competitor, it's that we're following our own customers. They're the innovators now, and it's up to us to make sure that we can satisfy their goals. In the early days, I had a lot of adventures on the prototypes because I was constantly going out and testing them. Not only do I get to ride my bike, but I get to ride it in these amazing destinations around the world. We've done some backcountry camping trips, and actually those are some of my favorite because it incorporates a lot of what I really loved about mountain biking or snowboarding or any sport that I did when I was younger, was the camaraderie and the community and the fun.
It is a great way to warm up, I can tell you that. Oh, let's see if we can get up here through the snow. Whew. Oh my God, this is beautiful.
That's actually a lot of the reason why you sit the way you sit in the bowhead. You could see what you were doing. Why do I go outdoors? What is it that I love? It's not just the performance, it's the place that I'm in. And so being able to look around was a key feature of why you're sitting like you're sitting on the bowhead. We need to figure out some of my favorite adventures being bike packing trips is because it's an ability to stop and smell the roses a little longer, Even though I'm older, there's still a very risk-tolerant part of me that allows me to go out and do stupid things. So they're less stupid, in case my wife is watching this, than they used to be. It was a great adventure. You're out there all alone, stars are shining down. Maybe you'll get stuck. maybe you won't. I don't know. It's fun. The adventure never ends. When you talk about the feeling you get, knowing that you can give something to somebody that will give them freedom that they didn't previously have, it hits home, and it hits home for each individual that works here. Comes to Bowhead and you're trying to tell them that this isn't just a normal job that they've had before, and like, just wait until you interact with a person who's going to be a customer, and then they get their bike, and 2 weeks later you get an email saying that you changed their life and that they've had like the most amazing time. And I don't just get to own that, everybody here shares that.
Life before my injury, I was just regular 15-year-old kid. I did sports, hung out with my friends and family, did regular 15-year-old things. I got really into mountain biking at a pretty young age, and then that kind of started taking over a lot of my free time. I always knew that that was something I really loved, and then, yeah, that's what took me out. I don't totally remember what happened, but I was in a downhill mountain bike race. I could see the finish line, and then all of a sudden I was waking up and trying to walk it off, run it off, and couldn't. So I broke my T4, T5 vertebrae, which is about like mid-chest. I don't remember a ton of it anymore, as it's been 11 years now. It's just something that happened, and it kind of is what it is. It must have been hard for my family. It had to have been, but they never let me see that. They were always like, all right, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna go skiing again. We're gonna do all these things. They didn't let me see maybe that if they were hurting, because they needed me to, you know, figure it out. I needed to be my worst enemy. You feel this kind of like, not pressure, but like almost like embarrassment at first hanging out with friends, just because, you know, you're different than you were potentially the last time you hung out. So, but they never let me feel like that. It was like, all right, we're going to their friend's house, and they didn't even say anything about the stairs. It was just like, we're getting you up the stairs. That was really another thing that made it a lot easier was, you know, my good friends were just, they were my good friends still, and, you know, they might have had to lift me up a couple stairs or whatever, but they really didn't make it ever seem like it was a problem to them. The outdoors was always a big part of my life. I skied in the winter, and I still ski, and I mountain biked in the summer, and I still mountain bike, so yeah. I definitely see how other people, you know, see people in wheelchairs and myself, and I don't really care. I mean, that seems like that's more on them. And it's totally different. Like, you go to the grocery store and people are like, oh, it's so nice to see you out of the house and blah, blah, blah. But you go mountain biking or skiing and people are like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, it goes from like sympathy to like stoke. And that's really cool, because I don't want sympathy. I don't need you to tell me how I inspire you by going and getting bread. But it's awesome when you know, we can shred a lap together and high five at the bottom, and it's like a genuine connection, and it's stoke, not, yeah, pity. So I work for this company called High Fives Foundation. High Fives was started in 2009 by Roy Tuscany, who sustained a spinal cord injury. He had an amazing recovery and was never going to be able to give back financially to every person who supported him through his recovery. So he started High Fives as a way to pay it forward to the next person going through a life-changing injury. Over the last 11 years, we've supported over 400 athletes. So we'll do grants for people, we'll do surf trips, ski trips. It's a great community, and I love to be a part of it. I was down in the States, and Bo had actually sent them a bike for different athletes to use, and I pretty much just hopped on the thing and took it over. I don't really know if anyone else used it much besides me. So I kind of just commandeered that bike, and then I think it's the most important thing in my life. Like, it was what I, would fall asleep thinking about before I got hurt, and then until I got back on the bowhead, every night I would think about mountain biking, and now I'm back, and it's like, I'm just thinking about what kind of trails I want to ride, what kind of things I want to do, the craziest ideas that I want to do, and yeah, it's life.
My life before I was injured involved a lot of skateboarding, snowboarding, skiing. That was kind of what I loved to do. That was what I did for fun, sort of an action sports guy. I got into a fair bit of trouble when I was younger. It was kind of a messed up situation. Me and a couple guys decided to take some cars that didn't belong to us for joyrides. They were intended to go back at the end of it. And one of them, which I happened to be the passenger of, ended up over an embankment into a river. First snowfall of the year. It was pretty disorienting because the car was on its side in the river. The second that I realized I was injured is when we left the vehicle, and I realized that I couldn't kick. I couldn't move my legs to swim to shore, so I actually started getting swept down the river. And my friend who was driving the vehicle saw me. He had started to go back to shore and heard me yelling, and he came back and actually grabbed me from the river, which I just about got swept away from. So that was sort of the moment that I realized I was paralyzed. And yeah, painful, cold. They tried to drag me up the rock face and drop me on my broken back a few times on some jagged rocks. It was not a good scene. I think I came pretty close to passing away from hypothermia that night. It was not a good one. I'm a T4, T5 paraplegic, so it's below my chest. Chalk it up to the scariest moment of my life for sure. Definitely had some thoughts of not making it out, so yeah. I have some close friends that I skied with for years. Landon McGauley specifically, who broke his back mountain biking, and he got his hands on a bowhead. And so I had seen a bunch of footage of him riding and stuff like that. Fast forward, I was actually given the opportunity to keep a bike at my place through Landon as well, through the High Fives Foundation. So I got out a bunch and I got proficient at it, started riding mountain bikes with my girlfriend and our friends. And the biggest thing with these sports, which were probably a deterrent to begin with, I didn't want to have to go out and have everybody riding with me change their day to accommodate me. I want to go to the mountains and I want to shred powder with my friends, and I want to go up into mountain bike trails and ride with people and just enjoy it, and not have everybody have to sort of change their day and dumb down their riding and ride different terrain and all that sort of thing. And to be able to have independence out there and enjoy it with the people that I love and do it with independence and do it skillfully, I guess, with grace is huge. It makes me want to do it.
I definitely did a lot of different sports, team sports growing up from a younger age, and then as I got older, I kind of got into the independent sports a little bit more. Rode mountain bikes my whole life, raced motocross for 8-9 years kind of thing. Just loved being in the mountains and being outside. We never really had TV growing up, so we were always just kind of out being shitheads, and definitely values that I hold pretty dearly today. So 2015, construction accident, got to the point where I was working in the west side for a modular home company. Had a little just miscalculation or miscommunication, and the whole roof collapsed on top of me, like 12,000 pounds. 2 slings of plywood, a bunch of roof trusses and stuff. And I was conscious the whole time. It was like 45 minutes. And yeah, just kind of folded in half, like frontwards, kind of like face in thighs, 2 vertebrae, L1 and T12. One of them had dislocated and pushed into my spinal cord and creating a hematoma and pinched off. And so L1, T12 is just basically above your belly button. Both lungs collapsed. I had 2 punctures in one of my lungs. My heart was bruised. At that point, honestly, I was just trying to live. I was able to compete at a pretty high level in CrossFit before my injury. I think that's pretty much what kept me alive. I was like 6 foot, 225, yoked, kind of just in the best shape of my life. And I think if I was a little skinny bean, I think I would have probably just got crushed. Trying to breathe with 2 collapsed lungs with 12,000 pounds on top of you, I was just like, fuck this, man, I'm over it. At one point, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna close my eyes and see if I can end this, because this isn't fun at all. for whatever reason, didn't go and kept breathing. And a buddy that I was working with just started yarding stuff off top of me. And finally, the fire department got me off the roof and out of the hospital and did the surgery and then started rehabbing stuff from there. That kind of stuff fucks you up for a long time. And there's certain aspects, I think, that you'll never really be the same. You can kind of work on it and talk about it to your counselor or whatever, but I think that's always going to kind of be there, and you just kind of have to, accept it and try and move on from it as best you can and live your life.
Do you feel like your accident made you feel finite?
Big time. And I think that's something that you kind of learn throughout your rehabilitation process too, right? Like being insecure with my situation, I was always kind of searching for people's approval. Gained life experience, I guess that's all it comes down to. I just kind of realized that I don't need to have people's validation or anything. I need to do what makes me happy and just be me. And the right people will be attracted to that or they won't, and carry on. It makes you appreciate a lot of shit that I don't think that I appreciated before. Family and friends, like that's everything. Without that support group, I don't think I'd be who I am today. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. I am who I am before I was even in a chair, and I'm not any different. I mean, obviously in ways I'm different, but I'm not. I don't want to be treated any different. I don't want to be like coddled. You know, I've had buddies like full on tackle me out of my wheelchair in the bar and stuff, and it's like, I don't want it to be any different. And some people are like, oh, you know, it makes them so uncomfortable, but it's like, I don't give a shit. It's hilarious. We're just being us, man. The solid friend group that you keep around and keep you inspired. Asking you to go biking and dragging you up when you don't feel like doing stuff because you're whatever in your shit or having a day or whatever, and they're like, nope, not a choice. You're coming snowboarding or whatever the case is, and it's like, you kind of hate them at the time, but then you get up there and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm pretty happy that they dragged me out here.
Oh!
Way to get inverted.
It's not a terrible time to be in a chair, man. I mean, obviously in the beginning, you kind of go through the dark and not fun days, but everyday life for everybody, able-bodied or not, there's always ups and downs and stuff, but just like anything, man, you can be shown challenges and you can either rise and overcome them, or you can use them as your crutch and kind of just use that as an excuse the rest of your life. Some days when I'm having an off day or whatever, I don't want to get up because I don't want to transfer in my chair. It's a process to go to the bathroom and get in the shower, or whatever the case is, feeling sorry for yourself. It's like, I also have the ability to transfer into my chair on my own and go in and brush my own teeth, wipe my own ass, and, you know, have my own shower and get dressed myself. It's like, what the fuck are you complaining about, man? You have so much more to be grateful for than what you're not capable of or what you don't have function for. Like, there's so much more to life than that. It's a great time to be alive, man. We get some pretty crazy technology that, you know, wasn't available to people in our situation even 5 years ago. I had seen the Bowhead, total game changer. I was sold right away. So at that point, I had, put my order in and got mine and kind of just never really looked back, man. The bike's pretty much a universal tool for any off-road. The smiles that thing puts on my face on mountain bike trails is like, it'd be hard to give it up, for sure. It's kind of a tool that you become reliant on almost in life. You wanna come up? Come on, you sit. This is my dude Titus. He's kind of a bit of a attention-seeking pup, if you will. He sure loves biking and loves being outside with me, so nice to have him around.
Nothing
I lost my legs in 1982 when I was 20 years old. I got caught in an auger at work at a cannery for fish. I was cleaning out the ice house, and my foot slipped in the auger while I was moving, and I couldn't get it out. So then I yelled at the guy I was working with, "Hey, buddy, shut the button off." And he looked down, and he freaked out, and he ran away. So I just remember yelling at this guy, "Where are you going?" And while it's dragging me down. And then he went down to tell the foreman, and the foreman had controls right there and shut it off just in time.
Holy shit.
I've been in Paralympic 4 times in 3 different sports. So in 1988, I went to Seoul, Korea for wheelchair track. And then 2002, Salt Lake City for skiing. 2006, Torino for skiing. And then swimming in 2012. I got a bronze in Salt Lake City for a giant slalom. You're finished and you gotta watch other people come down and the clock's ticking. And one guy was 1/10 away from my time. So I would have been tied or 4th if he was a little quicker. Mountain biking, I loved it. You know, I tried it with Whistler Adaptive at first. I just was hooked right away. I had fun going through those trails. It's a whole new world for me. Really itching to get out there to do it again. The first time I really met up with some of the guys was at the Dunbar series. They were pretty awesome, man. They're, you know, just like the able-bodied mountain bike community, they're all pretty hardcore guys. It felt pretty good to, you know, be part of something with, you know, another bunch of adaptive guys, you know, being integrated with this Dunbar series was pretty awesome, I think. My highlights was, I guess, coming 3rd at Fernie. When I was doing the practice run, I wiped out. The race day, I was thinking, okay, I gotta be a little more careful. You know, so I made it down and got 3rd. Well, luckily, cold didn't make it. Mountain biking, I'd say, is close to my favorite. I like surfing too, you know, and skiing. Just getting out in the mountains, the backcountry, you know, skiing, you can only do so much, you know, backcountry without help, but with the bowhead, you can go in the backcountry by yourself, right? Which is nice. People have to put a name to something, right? You can say disabled, that could bug some people, or handicapped, or special, or whatever. You know, as long as you know who you are, I think you shouldn't worry about what other people call you. I still hang out with some friends from before my accident, you know, but they're getting old, you know, they don't like doing the stuff I like doing. It's so funny. So I just gotta say, okay, I'll see you later sometime. I'll do what I gotta do, right?
Grew up in the mountains. I lived down in Lethbridge, Alberta at the time. I just always remember my brother and I being outside all the time with all our friends and doing all the crazy things that I could have never imagined us doing, but now we sit back and laugh about it. We were always outside. So I was 16 at the time, and I was just getting ready for a women's motocross national series. It was about halfway through the race, kind of fluke. There was like a ski jump, we had called it, and there's like a pothole right before the ski jump. Hit it kind of funny, and the bike kind of rebounded up and hit me and sent me flying, cartwheeling pretty much down into like this little gully. Didn't really know what a spinal cord injury was at that time. There was something definitely wrong, but I didn't know what. That's kind of where I ended up, on the ground and not knowing what life was gonna bring next. So they did surgery and I was in ICU for a week. Put me in the kids' hospital because I was 16 at the time. I was there for maybe a day and they're like, oh nah, she's good. And they sent me right to rehab. They had predicted 6 months. There's no way I was staying there for that long. And so because I was already an athlete, I was already strong enough to do all of the things, and I just needed to learn all the basics. About 2 and a bit months where I was just focusing on getting out of that jail cell, I called it at the time, but yeah. My mom was very straight up. Because I was 16, doctors didn't really want to tell me what the future was gonna hold. And so she straight up told me, like, you're not walking again, so we better figure this out now. And I guess the first thing I was thinking is like, how am I gonna get active again? That runner's high that I always got, I was always looking for that. And that's hard in a wheelchair. That's really hard to find. And just being able to get your heart rate up and do those kinds of things was one of the biggest struggles, I say, for me, definitely.
There's no pushing high.
There's no pushing high, no. Like pushing a wheelchair up a hill just wasn't what I was looking for, no. I got back on a dirt bike. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't the most practical thing because we had to have like 2 other people there to get me loaded, and it just wasn't a very independent thing, so I didn't last very long doing it. I mean, it was just more of get back in the saddle, see if we can do this. I don't know how I found out about Christian at Bowhead, but I got a hold of him, saw what he was doing, and they were like, okay, want to come try the bike? And I'm like, oh, yes. Hopped over to Calgary and hopped on Christian's bike. Actually fell over on the sidewalk as soon as I went, and he looked at me and he was like, I thought you said you rode motocross. And I was like, yeah, clearly I got a lot to learn. I had a rough COVID year, and outdoors was where I really wanted to be, and so bit the bullet and bought a Bowhead, and that's kind of how it started. I could hop in it myself, and I can get situated myself. As soon as I got on that bike and realized the potential of what being outside could mean with this bike, I was hooked. Got the bike a month before the Dunbar Series.
Whoa. So anything a month, so hey, what the hell, let's do some downhill racing.
I don't know who put it in my head, maybe Niall. I talked to Cole a little bit because there was a little bit of talk about the courses being pretty intense, and I was like, hey Cole, like, is this gonna be doable? And he's like, it's nothing you haven't seen. Like, you grew up in the Rocky Mountains, this is not gonna be anything different. And so I was like, all right, well, let's go ride some bikes. I actually, in my head, was like, I'm gonna go up, ride some green trails. Hadn't been on a chairlift and a mountain bike yet. I even told my mom, I'm just gonna go ride, take her easy. And good old Scotty comes up to me, he's like, wanna go try the course? And so I'm going up top of the mountain and going and riding the course, and I hadn't even like been on a mountain on this thing yet. So when we got up to the top, you see the mountains, you see everything, and it was just like one of those moments where I'm like, hey, this is exactly where I was supposed to be. All the worries I had about getting here and how I was gonna ride these things left, and I was just like, okay, well, here we are. I have to go down this mountain now. Definitely was one of those things where it opened my eyes to how much more we could really do.
Hello and welcome to the Canada Cup here at Panorama Mountain Resort. This is the Dunbar Cycle Summer Series, and this is race number 2 on the circuit right here. Got a great track, a little bit harder than the race last week in Fernie, which was really blown and dry out. This is harder packed, very bumpy, very physical, longer track, and it's gonna be a great race. Enjoy the show.
Will you come out tonight?
Thank you. With a 5:58.48, another second place in a Canada Cup, Ethan Kruger!
That one was 100% line choice. It didn't really matter how much of a motor you had or how much battery you had left. It was about as close to a proper downhill circuit as I could picture it. Some of the other races we had to kind of jut in and out. This one was full course the whole time.
Pano was janky as fuck. It was super challenging. We did some test runs the day before, and I think a lot of people were questioning if they wanted to continue, they were actually going to be able to make it down. There was a lot of crashes, and I, in fact, crashed every single one of my trial runs up to the race. Probably could have done it a little bit faster, but I actually broke my finger the day before, and then I actually made it down in one piece without flipping the bike at the race, so it was pretty liberating.
And now for our winner from Kelowna, BC, with a 5:19.92, your winner, Paul Burgess! Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you your top 5 adaptive racers here at the Canada Cup Panorama. Okay, do the champagne then. I've been mountain biking since the early 80s. Was in the first extreme mountain bike movies, free ride movies, and then jumped the first big cliffs and did a lot of gnarly steep lines. I still love riding today, but I'm older now, so I do some like free ride light stuff, and I do a lot of announcing and hosting videos and whatnot as well, but still love biking. So I've been announcing on the Dunbar Series, doing BC Cup and Canada Cup downhills. Stephen Exley hired me 10 years ago. Grassroots racing with all the best, most psyched riders from all the different mountains around, just to see riders show up with no armpit hair and little kids, and now they're like pro elites racing World Cup, and now you've got new kids coming through, and I like, getting people stoked, and that's my job, and business is good. The Adaptives were invited to come race the Dunbar Series. A bunch of people just saw how capable they were of riding those bikes fast through, gnarly terrain. And I didn't know what to expect, but they absolutely ripped it up, and they were so stoked. The vibe was so high. They were just psyched about there on the clock and competing and jamming and ripping, and they're all very supportive of each other. And I was just stoked to see the light in their eyes, and the back and forth battles was very entertaining. It was a great addition to the Dunbar Series. Loved having them there.
Fuck. No one saw that. Oh man, Ethan Kruger pre-accident. Oh, bit of a wild child, I guess. We had a lot of fun playing around growing up. Quite fortunate to be living on a hobby farm that our parents had. So we had a little bit of room to play and move around and just be kids. Once we kind of got into bikes, that's kind of where we really started to find our passion. My injury was a result of a bike crash, actually. So it was just kind of your classic case of your big jump gone wrong in a dirt jump park. I did two things. I overshot it and didn't let go of the bike. I had to back out to Vancouver General, where they kind of put Humpty Dumpty back together. Final diagnosis of what they call complete Asia A. That meaning you done dickered yourself. There's medically speaking, there's not a chance of walking again. That's the pill I had to swallow, but if anything, this is kind of like riding a bike all the time now, except I'm just doing a different bike. It took a little bit to find new contentment with what I had. I was very fortunate to have amazing family and amazing friends around me that were huge support, huge support. They'd let me vent, and then they'd say, get on with it. Honestly, that's what I needed to be able to just push through and get my lifestyle back. That was the ultimate goal For a while there, I was just trying to figure out my new capability when it came to all the outdoor activities, whether it be fishing, hunting, camping. I mean, obviously no dirt bikes, but we got into one of those UTVs. So, I mean, it was able to scratch that itch. But for the longest time, I couldn't get into a mountain bike. And I was a bitter Betty about it. I was not a fun person, especially because all my friends, my brothers, they were all still riding, right? And I mean, I wasn't gonna be like, no, don't ride around me, but internally just ate me up inside so bad. I was fortunate enough to save up a bunch of money and get myself into one. It's been all downhill ever since. I looked at a few different manufacturers and the designs, and the Sporon Explorer that I eventually chose, just visually looking at it online and what have you, seemed to be what fit as far as the original thing of mountain biking, or just that feeling of being behind bars. I sent the order into Sporon, and about 9 weeks later, I got the bike back, and that was the first time I'd ever sat in an adaptive mountain bike.
Remember that first day?
Epic. So good. I tipped it right off the bat. It was epic. I was like, okay, well, these things don't ride like normal mountain bikes. It was an awakening at the same time as like, okay, we have something new to learn, and we have something new to master. It was super cool. It was awesome to get back into that bike, and from there on out, it's just been adventure after adventure after adventure, and it's been epic for sure.
Take me
Who's Sam Daniels pre-injury? 19-year-old kid who liked to go real fast, jump off things that were real high. Turns out that was a prescription for Sam Daniels post-injury. 19, riding bikes, overshot a big road gap and just splat. I remember laying on the ground, I remember the pain, I remember agony, frankly. It was pretty bad. I broke 25 bones and had over 100 fractures in all those bones. Broke 14 vertebrae, collapsed both my lungs. One of my ribs broke so bad it went across the side of my heart. About 4 weeks of like fully out, and then another 2 weeks of kind of in and out. Medically induced coma. And it was pretty horrible actually, because I would wake up completely confused, miserable in the sense of I think I was scared. I think I was unclear of where I was and why I was there. The doctor showed me my CT scan of my spine. So it started at my head and was, you know, a view here, then a view here, like a cross section of me. And you could see all those fractures going down and down. And then that whole time though, you could see my spinal column, like the circular hole in the middle of your spine where your spinal cord lives. And it had sort of been intact, and then in one photo it jumped over about 2 inches and then kept going down, and that was all the visual that I needed to go, oh yeah, I had that baseline awareness of if you break your back and sever your spine, that's the end of things below that point. The first sport I got involved with was alpine skiing. Got back to the snow within like 5 weeks of being out of the hospital. Got on a sit ski, yeah, a guy named Rich became like a mentor to me, and he had an extra sit ski and off we went. That felt really good. I remember that feeling of fresh air. I'd more or less been inside for 4 months at that point. And it was this first kind of indicator that everything was going to be different, but things were going to be okay. It was the seed of optimism that was planted. I think when you become part of these communities that center around some of these action sports like mountain biking or skiing, there's so much more lifestyle around it than there is with, you know, something that exists on you know, a basketball court. So it was an ability to go back to a lifestyle more than just a sport. I can't believe how much it's just changed my life as well. It really has brought me back into feeling like I'm part of the mountain biking community. It used to be that, you know, my friends would go out and ride and I wouldn't be able to. There's very few trails that I can't go ride with my bowhead. Because of that, it doesn't really have to be about me. Sure, I ride a different kind of bike than most of my friends do, 3 wheels instead of 2, but it doesn't really matter, we just go ride. We're in a growth phase right now. It's about increasing the ability for more people to own these bikes and to be able to get out and experience it and, frankly, fall in love with it. Let it be their therapy, let it be their medicine.
Welcome to the Canadian National Downhill Championships here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. We've got a wicked, gnarly, long, rough track that's steep and technical for a long ways with a harsh, traversy pedal into the finish line at the very end. It's going to be a true test of man and machine, woman machine here at Kicking Horse. Enjoy the show.
Giving out a ton of prizes.
Have a good luck, guys.
Let's get it, boy. Thanks, dude.
You good?
Yeah.
There's your guy.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good. Looks like you're flying. Were you happy with the run?
I was happy, man. Between runs, always a good run, and yeah, didn't make too many mistakes, so that's pretty happy.
Awesome, man. Well, you are in the hot seat.
In third place from Captain BC, at the 8:14:07,
I feel like I live a better life than a whole lot of people who, who don't have any kind of disability or injury. Yeah, I don't even think of myself as a disabled person, just have different ways of doing what I want to do.
in second place from Benjamin BC, with a 7:51.95.
know, the reality is whether it's ski racing or mountain biking, people get hurt. People get hurt all the time. We all know what's on the line when we go out and play in the mountains. And I think that sets the foundation for people being very inclusive. I've always found the communities around these sort of mountain sports to be very inclusive. And I think that rings really true with the adaptive mountain biking.
Adaptation is a very fitting word for anything we do in life. With the mountain bikes, the technology is adapting to meet our needs as much as, you know, we're adapting to be part of this sport. I think of all the sports, though, that I've had to adapt into, this is one of the easier ones.
Life hack? I mean, really, it's like, you have to adapt so many things to, if something's not already built for you, you've got to life hack it.
When I was on that chairlift, from the moment I dropped off the lift, you had to focus, and everything else went away, and that was awesome. I wasn't thinking about wheelchairs. I wasn't thinking I was on an adaptive bike. I was just thinking, I'm on a mountain bike, I'm on a mountain, and this is awesome. And I'm scared to death, for sure.
It was incredible. The community embraced the adaptive category. Everybody was so stoked. I couldn't believe how well it was accepted. Really, really impressed. Everybody was incredibly stoked on the adaptive category.
The inclusion in the Dunbar was really the first legitimate competition series out of the gate where adaptive and non-adaptive sort of blended seamlessly from a course standpoint, respect of rider to rider. There was enough adaptive athletes that it seemed like a competition, and I think this was the first time there was a race.
People, when they take the little things and make them so big, I wish that they knew how lucky they have it, but also just being aware that like it can be so much worse. And honestly, it's a blessing for me to be able to live that life where I can take these little things and be so appreciative of them and know that it's not the end of the world.
As cliche as it sounds, it'd be freedom. I can choose where I want to go. I can choose how fast I want to go there. Terrain doesn't dictate where I go, well, for the most part, you know, within limits, but it gets me out of the chair, it gets me back into nature, it gets me back in that mental space where I legitimately forget that I'm a paraplegic. I forget I'm in a wheelchair. I'm riding a bike through the woods, nothing else matters.
Normally, a good race is 164 racers. This year we had over 350 racers participate at all 3 events. We had learned so much from the first 2 events that we were able to adapt and apply to the Kicking Horse event, and being able to see the adaptive riders on the peak of a mountain was just a memory for me. You know, the freedom that they had when they reached that summit was incredible.
We made something incredibly unique happen. My anxiety peaked at race time until everyone made it down across the finish line, but everyone made it across the finish line. Everyone was all smiles.
And our winner here today from Kelowna, BC, with a 7:36.56, Cole
I'm grateful that I went through what I went through, and I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't take anything back or do anything differently. I think the people that I've met and the opportunities that I've had in life and stuff have been directly correlated to my chair and my situation, and the things that I'm doing because I'm in a chair and stuff wouldn't have happened.
It's so easy to just say that and people just brush that comment off.
Totally.
But for you to have come to terms with your situation and recognize that you're better off, I think that's a very powerful statement.
A lot of just, the people that I've met and that I have in my life these days on a regular are so worth all the shit that I went through. In a heartbeat, I would do it again.
When we got back from BC, it was kind of like the Ironman, where you have the Ironman blues. You put all this planning and effort into this epic trip. It happens, you come back, and then it's like, oh shit. Like home is no longer the same. Like Zara's still not here. I didn't come home to my whole family. Like lightning struck twice. And so now with Zara gone, it's, okay, well, we still need to live. She'd want us to live. How do we adapt? How do we keep her memory alive? And so my wife started the Zara Buren Memorial Foundation And every year we're hoping to be able to help a number of young people with whatever it is they're passionate about. Finding a way to help people, there's meaning in that. For me, every time someone wears something with Zara's logo on it, it helps keep her memory alive. And knowing that she impacted a lot of people in her short time here, we can find ways to continue that legacy and giving back and making the most of each day, because really that's all we've got. I mean, I could have died. My friends could have died. We're still here for a reason. So whatever you've got left, let's use it to the fullest. Find a way to do things and make the most of each day, because life's pretty fragile.
It's as real as it gets.
Come back out to go in. There we go. Makes sense.
Here is where it all begins. I was thinking maybe it's working back. 'Cause I've been needing you the most.
100.
For the record, it was not my fault.
Cole Bernier, master of the one-handed opening.
The one-handed opening.
Have kept you in my heart. Life is worth living. Oh, and you give me all your loving. And our love is a chain reaction. It comes in sparks. So let's keep.
Am I allowed to film this? You okay, buddy? Don't look like you're showing trail.
Only some riders have cracked the 4-minute mark, and it's going to be a True. Okay, here we go again. We have a very, very tough track here, the Dunbar Summer Series, and we've got only a few riders who have cracked the 4-minute mark, so it's going to be a true check. You go say something.
Testicles.
This is how we do it. Oh my dude, do not fall.
And we've got a steep, gnarly technical track that goes down the mountain in a great... I went for something different, and I just, my wheels fell off.
Is a chain reaction. It comes in spurts.
After the races are all over, all these able bodies are trying the bow heads and racing around the parking lot. 3, 2, 1, go!
One of the things that I think really, for my attitude, is a quote from my grandfather that really made me think, live your life like you want to remember it. When you're looking back at the end, you want to know that you did what you wanted to do, tick those things off the bucket list, because you only live once. That's what hit me, almost the hardest seeing the adaptive riders was the positivity and the gung-ho factor that they had to still take risks going down the mountain, despite the challenges they've had in their life. Much respect to them for that, for the heart and the internal strength to get out and keep giving it. Very, very powerful.
Kruger. Saw our staging screen. It's a little rainy. I think it might get wet. Anyway, I I really enjoy 7-mesh rain gear. It seems to work pretty good when things get hectic. Okay, don't crash, you fucker.